Hello, and welcome to edition number 52 of the Weekly Bugger. This time we will correct some statements and answer questions about flat Earth, and other self-research that you were afraid to ask about. Flat earthers always distort scientific theories and mathematical calculations to explain why the horizon does what it does. A very good example is using a Nikon P900 camera to zoom in on buildings across the horizon, then zooming out, claiming the building's the dissolving bottom up. Next thing is to wave with the Rayleigh criterion, or butcher this to, the railway criterion, and call this proof. The deception of these falsified images is that you don't need any trigonometry, algometry, allometry, arthrometry, barometry, chirometry, chronometry, clinometry, conchometry, cosmometry and some other trees to justify your claim. What you see when you zoom in is just a city that has been struck by a huge mud flood. The base of the buildings in fact are a few meters in the ground. It is actually quite simple. Another one is why ships disappear bottom up when going over the horizon. What NASA carefully kept from the people is that all these ships are in fact super secret submarines. They fill their ballast tanks when they are far enough from the coast, and continue their journey submerged, because that is much faster. Several miles from the coast of their destination, they blow their ballast and emerge again, before entering the harbor. A field where flat earthers go wrong is rocket launches and satellites, which they foolishly call satelloons, because they have no better explanation. When people ask them, how about GPS tracking and weather satellites? They quickly change the subject and evade answering totally. These rocket launches are very real. After all, when Earth has a very sturdy dome over it, and space organizations have found a good use for that. Have you never wondered why the top of these rockets are always wider than the rocket booster below? These satellites really go up, and always travel to a chosen spot in the firmament, where a large suction cup deploys, and this firmly anchors the satellite to the inside of the crystalline dome. This way they are always perfectly in place. And when the device has outlived its usefulness, the suction cup is detached with compressed air and it all falls back to Earth to its destruction, hitting the ocean water at high speed. And how about Australia? We all know that this country does not exist. But how about all the people on the internet, claiming they live in Australia? Well, all these people are highly paid NASA actors who live anywhere on Earth. Their houses have a big room with a camera, and this room is totally painted green. In there, the so-called Australians act their lives on the moments they are on the internet or the news, with the video process called chroma key, or perhaps better known as green screen. Their fake country is projected around them. Their whole country literally is CGI. Sometimes the recording has a few imperfections, and really dumb conspiracy theorists explain that as a glitch in the matrix. But they are just idiots. The moon is also a subject of ridicule. Of course we know the moon is a holographic projection that sometimes appears transparent. Now, how about the Apollo moon landings? Here the answer should be really obvious. That was all done by holograms, in hologram rockets. Have you never seen that sometimes Neil Armstrong seems to be transparent? Last but not least, Polaris. The star that marks the north, and when you point a camera on it, in time-lapse the other stars seem to revolve around the North Star. This is totally true. The case of the matter, Polaris actually is the point in the top center of the dome, from where the Earth disk is hanging by an invisible cable that lets it slowly rotates. Because the disk hangs on a cable instead of a sturdy axle, it slightly wobbles and that causes the ocean tides. Why? Why does NASA go to so much trouble and spending shiploads of money to create this elaborate hoax? Why all the gigantic effort to hide the fact that the Earth is a globe? Some people will never know. Of course, in the tradition of the Weekly Bugger, this is all made up by ourselves. Sometimes you need silliness to fight nonsense. But you can never know if someone will take it serious. I will close with something to think about. The universe is expanding. Are we expanding with it? The Dutch people are currently the tallest in the world. Where would that come from? This was the Weekly Bugger, and I am Ivy. We will be back in a week as opening of Premiere Thursday.